Hello, welcome to another edition of Kanika talking to our customers. And some of the people that we work with are incredibly exciting humans. Like I met Anil in the beginning of the year. He sort of has a very quiet demeanor, but when he talks about QA and when he talks about what he wants to do, you have to pause and listen. So, welcome, Anil. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Kanika. Thank you for having me on your talk. I'm excited to see what questions you have for me.
Thank you. So, Anil, for the benefit of everyone, it'll be great if you could introduce yourself. You work with Tilt and you lead quality engineering. But if you could just tell everyone a little about Tilt and what you do, it'll be great.
Sure. Tilt is a US-based fintech startup. We have been operating since more than 7 years now, and I work as a QA director at Tilt. I kind of look at a portfolio of mobile applications in various countries, primarily US, and then we have other international apps, and then also the backend testing, and everything when it comes to testing across all our portfolio of apps and front end and back end, including process, release management, end to end.
Excellent. Thanks, Anil. But I think that people will get to know a little more about you with my famous rapid fire. So I will ask you four questions really quickly, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's about you, but let's be like quick. The first one, Anil, is what is your automation style? Scrappy, stable, flaky, AI? What is your automation style?
Oh, AI is a most recent word, but like generally since my beginning, if I ask me, one word is like um, well thought of, very stable.
Wow, that is interesting. I would have never thought that for anyone because everyone thinks automation is like quick or like fast, but like well thought of. It's a very good answer, Anil. What was your first framework?
Oh yeah, my first framework for an API test was like Java Test NG for like a mobile application. I don't know how many of you heard. There was a tool called Monkey Test, so I used that.
Maki test.
Yes,
Okay, I never heard about it. My history of test automation starts from Perfecto. So that's okay.
it was way
So
back in 2013. Monkey Test, we had a very small tool.
okay, excellent. API test or UI test? Your
Of course,
favorite?
it tests.
Yes, we only bring guests who like API test on this podcast. Um, Now, what is your preferred debugging snack? What do you like to eat? And maybe not debugging, but maybe when you have like a stressful release, what do you like to eat?
Yeah, black coffee.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Excellent. Some really good choices. For me, it will be black tea.
Okay.
Um, Anil, you have your team is doing something very fascinating, and I have seen over a period of time. It's multi-geography, and every time you move into a different geography, you get into a lot of changes into your application to support that geography. And a lot of people don't sort of understand challenges that QA teams face when applications change so fast due to business reasons. So, one of the things that I would love to start with is if you can share a real example where you felt your team has uncovered some real problems, and also, I think it will be good to sort of understand if there is one habit in your QA workflow which was there in 2024. I can't believe it's end of 2025. And probably you think it is not there now. Given how fast you move, what have you changed?
Yeah, it's a good question. One real example that has AI especially has improved a lot in the recent past is the speed of test creation is one among the few. Right. So at Tilt this year, I have set up an objective for my team that we have to identify and implement a Gen AI based, a low code or no code automation solution for our API and UI testing. Like for the same reasons you mentioned, like I have different geographical applications, which are completely different than among each other. And everything has its own tech stack. Everything has its own government regulations to follow, and everything has its own release cycle. So for us, definitely speed of test creation is one major thing. And I want to achieve that with a very lean team. So with the aim of improving speed of test execution with minimal to no ongoing maintenance was our primary objective that we have set up. So as part of that objective, we adopted your tool Loadmill, which is greatly helping us to spin up API regression test suites. Loadmill enables me to kind of spin up a whole test suite for a new feature within an hour. So the moment we have the feature built, in less than an hour, we could record and get the whole test suite up and running. So that really helped us to kind of scale a lot of our applications from zero to some percentage coverage within no time. And another UI tool we recently adopted for mobile UI automation, which is a fantastic solution, by the way, that enabled us also to create the whole regression test suite just by using AI prompt, no scripting, nothing. Both
Nice.
one detailed AI prompt that kind of does everything. So definitely one of the few things that has recently improved a lot is speed of test creation with AI assisted tools.
Yes.
And if you ask me, like one habit that the QA team workflow has been changed during with the AI adoption is basically one big change that I observed at Tilt is with the use of our context aware AI agents. Bug triaging has improved a lot from
Nice.
QA of time.
Nice.
So it has greatly improved self-serviceability. For example, like when QA see an API throwing server exception, 2024, we used to go and bug the developers like, can you tell me what's going on here? Now we have full agentic AI with our code in the context. So we just use this thing, ask the AI what's going on, give me which PR, give me the delta of all the PR that's going in the release, what is causing it. So that kind of narrows down which PR has caused it, or which team, which pod has broken this particular functionality. So the back and forth we had with our QA, with our dev, has reduced a lot. So
So faster feedback and faster test creation and maintenance, because that's where you spend a lot of time as well.
yeah, like some of the test scripts, like maintenance, like say for example, UI automation requires very high maintenance. So the tool we adopted has very dynamic, complete LLM driven, self-aware framework that kind of warrants very less maintenance. Even Loadmill, for example, like in an API test, any contract validations or like updating of contracts or adapting, tweaking flakiness of tests, like which is all pretty easy. Like you have AI assisted assistants that kind of analyze the test failure, give you suggestions, so you can kind of get to know the root cause pretty quickly and have few ideas to try. So that maintenance time has also been very much reduced.
Excellent. So it looks like you hit a lot of your goals for 2025. Anil, I share a lot of like my personal journey on LinkedIn as well. And a lot of people know that I have gone through a lot of injuries and accidents in my life as with sport and everything. I sometimes feel that every opportunity or obstacle or when you have an injury is a great point of inflection and it changes the way you are. Like in January, I was in the ICU. Today, you ask me, I actually feel grateful to all the things that I killed after being there, right? Now, my question to you is you and your team, what was that incident which made you inflect or a failure? Failure is a very strong word, but incident that helped you inflect and decide, no, I'm not going to continue the way this is. And it could just be, I don't know, doing a lot of late nights. Was there something like that, or were you always like, no, I just want to change?
No, there was definitely a trigger. Like generally, you have a trigger at some point. Like you, for example, till back in I joined like 6.5 years back. I was the first QA to pick up person to QA to start QA, implement QA process and everything. So it was a green field for me. So it was I had full freedom to pick and choose what I need to do it. So I with that I have started using so many tools to build up, spin up an API test. We had so many tests, number of tests are so many, but we have a feature where is being a fintech, we kind of have a feature that kind of saves a particular amount for a user uh, per week based on some business logic, business rules that the user set up. But we have an upper limit, like hey, like for in a maximum month, don't go more than $1,000. So these web jobs run all the time, being a fintech and overnight jobs and stuff. So we had an instant where instead of there was a bug introduced that instead of validating the upper limit, we ended up drawing the upper limit from every customer.
So you
So
drew from the upper limit of every customer. Okay.
yes. So it's like, let's say upper limit is 500. So we withdraw $500 instead of stopping at $500. That's the bug. So then when I did the root cause analysis, I kind of figured out we had so many tests that are testing the API, but they're kind of testing superficially. The number of tests are like, some of these tools give you are like variations of boundary value analysis for all the API parameters that you do. Most of this logic ends up at controller level in the code. In the current B2C applications, a lot of business logic lives in the server. So a lot of that business logic has not been validated thoroughly by black box test approach of API tests. That's what I kind of figured out. The whole fundamental approach is wrong with these traditional tools that we are using. So then I sat down and started writing my own test tools. And then started writing my own framework using my own test tools, using Python and Python, Django, and other stuff. Basically, that ended up changed the how fundamentally we look at testing at Tilt. So we kind of built test tools that orchestrate test data for each scenario and then for each business rule, and then we kind of hit the API to validate each business rule has been responded back with the correct validation logic, and a bunch of these web jobs that are not hit through API calls. We have introduced ways to kind of test them in isolation. So that one incident kind of fundamentally changed how we approached completely our testing. And the same we extended to mobile, the same we extended to our other geographies like in Philippines, India, Mexico, all the same process, same approach we've been replicating, and we have seen tremendous success. We haven't had such instance in the last 6 years after that new framework implemented. So definitely a big change. So we realize the number of tests is not the main thing. You should be able to test the business logic with a limited user variation test flow generation.
Um, I must tell you, Anil, that the first few times when we met you, we sort of felt you get Loadmill already. And I usually don't like to talk about a lot about Loadmill on at least when I interview people. Um, and now I see why you get it, because you were actually trying to build it, like even before you met us. So we didn't have to really convince you. So I think it's sort of like when like minds meet, we didn't, honestly, I don't think we had to convince you on API testing at all. Like it was, you were convinced.
Basically, what I approached when I looked at, when I was on the scout for so many tools, like I've tried many tools, right? So what I saw with your approach of implementing the test tool is basically, it's not one approach that Loadmill has. It has all the tools that you can orchestrate whatever way you want. You can kind of tweak it. You can kind of synchronize Loadmill workflows in whichever way you want. It's like open configurable tool, and it has very good functions within built in it. So you just need to know how to call those functions in a way to achieve what you want to achieve. Because I've already had a clear cut approach of what I need to achieve, and then I felt Loadmill can do everything that I'm doing by programmatically, and then I can remove the barrier of from my team. They don't have to learn the framework that I built, but they can learn Loadmill, drag and drop functionalities, like sequencing, like just copy paste, everything works there. So it's easy for me to train my team. So they saw my
Yeah.
framework. This is so easy to onboard and quickly to build. For our Philippines whole product, within 2 days, I didn't build a bit of it. So they saw, they learned the tool. They saw they had experience with my previous framework. My other team member, he built the whole regression suite for Philippines in 2 days.
Wow. And I must tell you, a lot of it has got to do with you than any tool. I feel a person like you can make any tool work, but we are glad that we were the chosen one. Moving on, Anil, what I would like to sort of this, you've said so much that I will probably write a blog on this. But from my perspective, I have been trying to do this not for load mill. I'm doing this for quality engineers because a large part of my career, I owe it to the love I get from the community. What do you think, as AI tools become a part of like quality engineering mindset, what do you think in the next 2 years are the skills that leaders and teams and members should prioritize? And it's not about a tool, like it's a skill. I sometimes feel even thinking stable tests, like you said in the beginning, is a skill, you know? So what skills will you tell for the next, 2 3 years? Because that's as much as horizon people can see with AI. Should people prioritize?
Yeah. So this is what something I talk with my team as well. Um, as AI tools become part of the software development lifecycle, the life of quality engineer is definitely is going to change. Like the traditional way of black box testing, manual testing, or scripting your automation tools, or like going implementing boundary value analysis tests for API. This is not going to survive. Um, when it comes to two things like skill set and then what we would be looking at in 2 years time. So apart from the basic skills of uh, understanding and playing with AI tools, I would definitely ask my team members to learn about prompt engineering, take it as a subject to properly understand how do we properly write good prompts that kind of give you the result. Like it's all garbage in, garbage out. So you need to be smart to get the smart output. So prompt engineering is one major thing I'm learning, recommending my team. I also recommend my team to kind of to have a know-how of the component, what's how AI is functioning. So don't just use AI as a black box tool. Rather than you need to have the know-how about the technology behind AI. So how AI works in the back end, not in depth, but at least on a functional high level time, right? You need to learn about what is agentic AI means, what is RAG versus MCP, what is the difference between this and that. I believe like the functional know-how of AI components is very important to come up with, AI-driven solutions or agentic workflow designing in the real workflow. Like when my team is supposed to solve a QA workflow problem, they should know how AI works so that they can think innovatively which component of AI to put in which part of the workflow that should solve the problem. So definitely, yeah, the basic things you need to
Do
know.
you have a go-to source where you go and learn this? Like, where do you learn prompt engineering and AI? Like, do you go and find courses? Like, I did a course on Udemy, but I'm not like a quality engineer. Where should they go to learn this?
There are a lot. There is a lot of free resources in YouTube. Like there is a big series of IBM talks on AI, tidbits. Like there are like um, Andrew Nugent's the deep learning AI website where you get prompt engineering as a free course. So this there are so many free material
Nice.
available. You just need to
Nice.
know what to look for.
Excellent. Anil, again, I always like talking to you, and thank you for like just sparing this time and being here. I hope that your learning can help everyone in next year. I wish you and your team a very happy new year. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kanika.